Hello there, this is Alexander Hall from Nescott here, doing Viva Voce Week 3. So, hope you enjoy. I'm going to give you the questions now. What research have I done independently this week? Okay, so the main ones that I've done have been the likes of Bertolt Brecht, which I mentioned in my last Viva, but, this is just a very recent Viva because of time management, etc. But anyway, Bertolt Brecht is another one that I've done. The most recent one that I've worked on is Jacques Lecoeur, who was a really massively influenced composer, director, and producer in theatre, and wants to go the extra distance and create something new in theatre. So one of his main achievements was how he created mime, and his main part of his creation was this film, which was back in 1945, which was called Les Enfants de Paris, where he created a mime, which was then done by someone else, but he created a theme of mime. So you know when you see those who have stripy jumpers and then stripy makeup on their face, and they start going that. He was the main one who is the main inspiration to that. So, and from then on, he went on to many different projects. I remember he went somewhere abroad. Apart from going to Paris, he went off to work on some art, started doing mask making, and then just became a real inspiration from then. But the main inspiration I got from him was the Les Enfants du Paris, which was a fantastic piece of mime that he created, which was really well done. Definitely worth checking out. Definitely check that video out, which I left in my reflections and also in my research. Well, no, it's not in my reflections. It's in my research page. So go on my research page and check out that. Check out the YouTube source that I showed at the bottom, which is also by my source for Jacques Lecoeur. So check out the Jacques Lecoeur piece and that I created through typing it on, and check the link also from YouTube as well, which has got that on there. What have I applied in class? Well, I applied most of Jacques Lecoeur's miming to the GCSE girl, which was done last week, which we did with Joe, which I probably covered on from my last Viva anyway. But what we were doing quite a lot of was doing a lot more miming, so there was more playing, pretending you had a bottle in your hand, doing boom, and then of course miming that you've got a cold, that you're coughing like people normally do in exams, and then pencil falling, pretending that your pencil's fallen, pick it up. Same thing. The whole story around that, if I can just recap on that, just to you. The whole recap was that we were looking over this girl who was actually in the Grenfell Tower the night before, about 6 hours before starting her chemistry GCSE exam, which she had a lot of passion for, and she really wanted to get a grade in chemistry because she was wanting to do it for A level. And even after the fire happened, she didn't want to give up on doing it. She said, "I'm really determined to do it," and she didn't. She just persevered to do it, even with the events that she's been through, which I think is a really powerful girl. And she got an A for it as well, which was a fantastic result, despite having the experience beforehand. So, and she's got a lot to be really proud for. So definitely definitely one that I would give a lot of acclaim for. So Jacques Leclerc, Leclerc's mind would definitely go into the exam physical theatre that we've been working on, which has that use of mime. So, yeah. So what practical problems have I come across this week? On Wednesday, which I can definitely say was between the 27th, 26th, the 24th of January, if I'm correct, where we were going over our recent new section that Gavin was giving us, which we've been working on which we worked on full on Wednesday. So from 11 to 3, apart from our lunch break, of course, we just went full out working on this new section that we feel we really wanted to just progress on. And yeah, I can probably go into it in more detail, but one of the things that we were working on was looking at different visualizations of what we could see from the likes of how the firefighters reacted to the scene, the police reacted to the scene, of course, loved ones calling up those who were stuck in the tower. There was all that, and then of course people who were volunteering to save lives, firefighters doing their bit, ambulances being there to take those seriously into hospital, the police tried to clear the scene so they could get everyone in a safe place while the fire was happening, and just tried to work on a physical theatre movement which would work well in those circumstances. So yeah, it's really gone well. It's just the one thing that the one practical problem I came across was just remembering my cues. Especially there was this one part where me and Zach, where we jump over Nathan Kemp, who's lying on his back and while being rescued. You could see it as that. But what happened was when me and Zach were jumping over him, and we just lied straight down on our backs, and then Mateus picked up, lifted Zach off, and then Demi came and lifted me up. The one thing that I just completely forgot about was going straight into my position to do like a mixture of, something like that. It was a bit like that anyway. And what I did was I just completely lost track at that point, and I did it a regular number of times in both the 11 o'clock session and the 1:30 session. So one of the main things, the ways I can improve this is look over the video on WordPress or go to Zach either this week or next week before we start working on this section again, and just like recap on what I need to remember, recap on the where to go at what time, and also the same for the other lots of different areas of movement that I need to just keep going over, because at this point things do get a lot more, doesn't get as refreshed, so you just need to really pick up with it and just recap yourself, and the more you just repeat yourself, the better you become. And that's just with me. My learning process is a lot different to many others, and sometimes I just need that extra nag to be given that confidence, if you know what I mean. Yeah. What practitioners have I come across this week? The main one I can mention is Akram Khan, who's the National Ballet Director, who directed the cast that performed at Glastonbury quite a few years. It was about a couple of years ago, or a year ago, either in 2016 to 17 or 15, 2015, 2016, 2017, something like that. And and they did this full choreography of the use of flour going all over the place, and so many other things that, there's so much to talk about from that. And of course, doing the wire moving to the other side, so more like that from what I can say. But yeah, that was a practitioner I looked over. Also, another one would be frantic assembly, because we've been applying a lot of frantic assembly with the section we're working on at the moment, which we worked on full on the 23rd of January, which we worked on from the full Wednesday that day, and just worked on it from that for that long period, which was really tiring, but it was great. But yeah, no, frantic assembly, another great, really good practical practitioner to look over, and a really good company to just refresh on all the time. But yeah, have I created anything new? Our new material that we're working on with Gavin is something that is new to us, so we've been working on that. Also, of course, about the GCSE girl who sat her chemistry exam after the fire, got an A afterwards, which was fab. And also my new song, which I probably did mention in my last Viva, but I'm going to mention it again. I'm really bad at memory, but anyway. This new song that I created, if I can just pick it up on my phone while I can remember it. I need to know the title, and it is called Smoke. Sun Beyond the Smoke. It's one that I worked on actually this weekend with a couple of friends of mine, and what we did was that thing can go away. Sorry. So we worked on this new song, Sun on the Smoke, and what the whole song was, we wanted to all get together. I said to them, I'm working on a Grenfell project at college, and they said, do you want to create a song? Shall we create a song together of Grenfell contributing and paying respect to Grenfell? And so what we did was we got in a full group, and we just looked at some chords that we haven't used in a while, and then all of a sudden just started to think about lyrics. Just listen to the tune, and then get a melody line, and then get to the chorus and start doing some harmonies. And yeah, it's we worked on it for nearly an hour and a half. So we created the whole thing in an hour and a half, which is quite an achievement, because it normally takes me ages to work on a song, to compose a song in that amount of time. Even with a duo or trio, it can take ages sometimes, because some of us either get writer's block, and sometimes we just don't have the mind set for it. But anyway, but yeah, it was one that I just wanted to get it across, work on a new song which could be relevant, which could go well with our project, and go well with our showcase as well. So, and I've been sending links to a few people at college. So, and hopefully the whole song will be spread around, and hopefully by then I'll know my song title better. I need to know that. Anyway, what's the next thing? What was the outcome of my creation? coming together as an ensemble and trying to make high progress on each section and contributing good ideas. So, really, I think the main outcome of our creation is pretty much just looking over, trying to work well, and just create good composure when lining together and not being all backed off, and being flexible as well with good ideas, being flexible with new movements, and taking ideas as they come, and having good judgment. And I think that's worked really well so far. Another thing, and just making really good high progress is another one, which is a really important one as well. On each section, and contributing good ideas. So, for example, my song, which I created in my own spare time over the weekend, which I feel has been very satisfying. I've sent the link to Gavin and Leanne, and they all love it. So hopefully we can get it going. Just need to communicate, which is the main important one. And finally, and yeah, it's just been such a good lot of progress that we've made so far, especially practically. It's been fantastic. So yeah. Oh yes, I need to make this clear before I finish. This, just put this down under have I created anything new, Matt? Just so you know. Sorry. Firefight. So the other thing about what we've created, which is new, is also creating like a good outcome with the use of how the firefighters reacted, the ambulance and police saving lives at such crazy times. Trying to give up their sleeping, their beauty sleep for saving lives that were stuck up in the flats, and they were trying to save those lives, trying to get them to safety, and they did an incredible job, despite they probably woke up all of a sudden going, oh, there's an emergency, we've got to go. And it was just a really good, the commitment and dedication that those firefighters and ambulance services and the police that put in all that time at the time, which probably wasn't easy for them. And they probably had to get extra service out there, and probably services which had to mean that some people got woken up to help. So it was really dedicated emergency services out there who did their very best to save lives and try and get people to the right space. Yep. Thank you very much. This is Viva Voce Week 3. Thank you very much for listening, and yeah, goodbye. This is Alex Hall. Thank you very much for listening. Hope to see you soon.